everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing the long-awaited December reading wrap-up, and I'm also doing January, so I combined them. I didn't read a whole big bunch of books over the last 2 months, but I wanted to recap with the ones from December and let you all know my thoughts, my feelings. And so let's go ahead and let's jump into it. I've got my list here because we all know my brain won't remember everything and I'll forget something. So we're starting off in just the order that I read them in December. So the first book I read in December is Terry Blackstock's Catching Christmas, and I didn't actually finish this. So I'm on page 119, I think. Yeah, 119. Unless I read ahead and just, stuck the cover in there. But y'all, I know this is like so hyped and everyone, it seems like in Christian booktube community, loves this book. I just could not finish it right now. I'm not saying it's a DNF. I'm just saying that it's a pick up later. And honestly, it's because one of the main characters in the book that we suspect she does have Alzheimer's and or dementia. And specifically in December, it was just really difficult because my grandma has Alzheimer's and dementia. And it's been a really hard, 2022 was really hard with that. There was a lot of changes and digression with her disease. And specifically when I was reading this book, some really hard things happened with her health. So I couldn't continue with the book. I'm hoping next year around Christmas that I can finish it. It's just there was too many fresh things going on, like literally as I was reading this book with my grandma who has those diseases. So I just couldn't finish it, but I do plan on picking it back up next year. So far, I mean, I really liked the story. So Sydney is, I think she's like an up-and-coming lawyer. She might still be in school or she just graduated and is in her first job. And then Finn is a cab driver who keeps picking up this elderly woman, Callie, who has Alzheimer's and dementia. And it's about all three of their stories. So just in case if you're interested or if you've already read it, then you know. And the second book in December, which I'm sorry, the sticker, guys, I hate when stickers are on book covers. But anyways, this was a buddy read with the sweet book lover Amanda and the sweet Caitlin from Chronicles of a Book Nerd. Y'all, when I say they're sweet, they're sweet. Oh my gosh, I love them so much. And I love, Becky Wade. I can't do it like Amanda, y'all. I ain't gonna try. Becky Wade. And so this is the second book in the Misty River series, and I loved this story. I ate it up. Honestly, it's like top 3 Becky Wade book for me. Honestly, phenomenal. I just can't say enough good things. It's a love triangle, and I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, but it's a love triangle with Leah and 2 guys in her life. She is like this mathematical genius, and she takes care of her younger brother. And it's just about her story, and there's like a mystery with certain things with Leah, and it's really good. The romance was really swoony. One of the guys is a doctor. I'm just saying. I kind of like that. And yeah, it was wonderful. I think all of us loved this book. I love buddy reading, and I love buddy reading with some of my favorite people. So thank you so much, Amanda and Caitlin, for including me in the buddy read. I also gave this 5 stars totally. I do think there could have been just a smidge more to the ending, but overall, I really loved it, and if you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. I liked it better. I gave them both 5 stars. Stay With Me is the first book in the series. I really liked that one. It was slower for me, which is a little unusual with Becky Wade for me. I had a hard time connecting with the main character, Genevieve, in that, But I do suggest reading the first one, like reading them in order. And I even liked this more. Like, after reading this, I almost would have given Stay With Me a 4-star, and Then Let It Be Me is 5 stars, 100%. And I can't wait to read the next book. I think me and Caitlin are going to continue and buddy read it together this month in February, if not in March. I can't remember which we said, but I think this month in February. And I think Amanda's already buddy reading the last one in the series with Amy from Pretty Little Paperbacks. So I love that. I can't wait to see what they think, and I just have a feeling me and Caitlin will, of course, love the third one too. The next book that I read was new to me author, and that is Denise Hunter, Falling Like Snowflakes. And speaking of Pretty Little Paperbacks, she kind of inspired me with this book. I know she loves Denise Hunter, and it's when I went to my trip in Lexington, and I ended up finding this at Half Price Books. I took the sticker off of this one. It was like $5 or $6, I think, and I loved it. Like 5 stars. It's about this mother and her son who's mute, and the son is, and they have to stay in this town because their car breaks down, and she ends up working for this family, and one of the oldest sons in the family runs their Christmas tree farm. I loved this. I can't wait to read the other ones in the series. I think it's one for each brother. There's 3 brothers, and they each follow the brother's love story. Guys, it's so good. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about Denise Hunter, but I truly loved this book, and it makes me so excited to read more of hers. So 5 stars. You should check it out. And the last book that I listened to in December was Wistress by Nadine Brandes. Y'all, the hype around this book is astronomical. This was also a buddy read with my sweet friend Brooke from Pages of Blessings. We had such a good time. She read it and listened, I think, and then I listened, and I love the narrators and the story. It was good. I did like a more in-depth review. If you want like a super in-depth review, you can go see my Goodreads. It was very slow for me. It's a Christian fantasy read. It was good. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars, but it was very slow for me. Fantasy is not my wheelhouse. Y'all know that like romance is my jam. And there was a little bit in there, but it was good. I was only going to give it a 3-star, and then the last like 60 to 70% of the book really bumped it up. It was great. And so I gave it 4 stars. If you're new to fantasy, it is very easy to understand. I'm kind of in a fantasy reading era right now. So you'll see I kind of continued the fantasy theme into January. So that was all that I read in December. So now in January, I read One More Song by Anna Conwell. Y'all, Anna Conwell is my girl. I love Anna with all my heart. I wasn't friends with her at the time, but she is an indie author, and she writes phenomenal, clean, sweet, clean romances. She's funny. It's just so good. You've heard me talk about The Love Audit. Well, it's the second book in the series to The Love Audit, called One More Song, and it is just so good. I do suggest you read them in order, because like in One More Song, you get to hear a lot about the people in the first book, and it would ruin the first book for you unless you just don't care about knowing what happens, but you still want the background. You know, do whatever you want to do, but I loved it. 5 stars. And I'm not biased, guys. Like, really, really good. I haven't read tons of like just sweet, clean romances or rom-coms. Amazing. And we've become friends, and she is so nice, you all. So sweet. I actually got it as an ARC, so I don't have a physical copy, but the book will be up here. I read it on my phone, and it's wonderful. Anna, it's not considered Christian romance. She has very light faith aspects in them, though, and that just makes it even more better in my eyes. I'm not gonna say too much about who it's about, but it's about Grace, and her story with this man, and it's like a second chance romance, which I'm gonna say isn't my favorite, but it was like childhood, like past, you know, boyfriend, and it was just done so well. Like, I didn't have any complaints with it, and she just knocked it out of the park. Grace is a teacher. She teaches English lit. She's bookish. She loves Pride and Prejudice. She's just really sweet, and I love her character. So yeah, if sounds good to you, you should totally check it out. 5 stars, loved it. The next book that I read this last month in January is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. That is a YA fantasy. It's not Christian, it's just secular YA fantasy. I had heard about this book for years, and I was so interested in reading it, but then I would read reviews, and it's like, oh, it's awful, and then you read reviews, and like, oh, it's so good. I feel like no one was really in the middle. It was like, you loved or hated this, and I know it was like a show on Netflix, which I didn't want to watch because I'm the type of person, if I know it's based off a book or something, I would really like to read the book first. But then I just kind of talked myself out of reading it. Well, then one of my good friends, Hannah from Bookstagram, Hannah June Writes, invited me to do the buddy read. It's one of her favorite books. And so several of us girls from Bookstagram joined the buddy read. And y'all, I did listen to this one. I don't have the book anymore. No, I don't. I don't have the book anymore. I actually unhauled it because I really didn't think that I was going to read it. And I ended up having some credits on Audible that I've just, you know, stored up. And I listened to the narrator, and y'all, I loved the narration. It was so good to me. I know some people might not like the accents that the narrator was using. It's like kind of Russian. Not the whole time, but some of it's like a Russian accent. But y'all, loved it. I ate the story up. I'm like on episode 5 of the show now. The show is definitely not as good at all than the book. Like, I really enjoyed the show, but I think they combined it with Six of Crows, which is a duology by the same author, and it's like many years down the road from the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and that's what I don't love because I've not read that. So I'd rather read the next 2 books in the trilogy for Shadow and Bone, then would have just rather had a show on those books than them like combining the stories from the duology Six of Crows. So I'm not saying I don't like it, it's just I would have liked to have read Six of Crows first before watching, but that's okay. Let me just say, the Darkling, one of the main male characters in this book, Shadow and Bone, I love him. Is he like kind of a villain? Kind of not? Yes and yes. I don't know. You'll have to read it for yourself. Let me just say, I love him. I don't know why. I was talking about this with my friends, but like, I love Anakin from not Lord of the Rings. I love Anakin from Star Wars, who obviously turns into Darth Vader. I mean, he kills children in Star Wars, but I love him. And then I don't know, sometimes I get it. I like these characters that are more on the darker side. Not dark, but like, I'm like, ooh, I like this. Like, I like Anakin and I like the Darkling, but it's like, I probably shouldn't because they're not the best of people, so I'm really hoping for a good character arc with the Darkling. Just saying. Love the narration. I think he plays a really great role in the show, and I loved it, y'all. There was minimal cussing, maybe 5 or less curse words, and it was minimal, like it wasn't GD or the F word, which in my eyes is pretty good. It was the curse word of crap, I think, was all. And then there was just like one little makeout scene, and it wasn't heavy to me or anything. No red flags went off. I really enjoyed it. And if y'all have read it, please let me know what you think. I gave it 5 stars. And I really am so excited to continue with the series. The next one is My Hope Next Door by Tammy O'Grady. Y'all, I love this book. This was for Oshina's Christian romance reading challenge this year, and the prompt for January was to reread an old favorite or something like that, just to reread an old favorite in Christian romance. Y'all, My Hope Next Door by Tammy O'Grady. And first of all, Oshina actually sent me this copy. I love you, Oshina. I'm literally looking at your note right now. Thank you so much, Oshina. Y'all, this story, it just reminded me, it's been over a year since I read it the first time. Guys, this story touches my heart so deeply. I actually think it is my favorite Tamiel Gray book, like number one. It's wonderful. It's about a preacher's son who's like in his late 20s, and his next door neighbor are non-believers, and their daughter, who he went to high school with, moves back into town. Her name's Katie, and the guy's name is Asher. And before, like, when she was growing up in town and all that, she's not a believer. She does, drugs, alcohol, all these things, doesn't treat people kindly, and her parents are kind of the same way. And then she ends up leaving town for a certain reason, which you'll find out, and then she comes back 4 years later to help her parents because they're sick, and she is a new believer. She gave her life to Christ, and she's trying to navigate being a new Christian, but also navigating her past demons and things like that with coming back home and having to face all these people, and basically having to like own up to what she had done before she left. It's just beautiful, and it's not just the love story. Like, the love story is sweet, and Asher is like such a caring Christian man that owns up to his mistakes, but also moves on and learns from them and tries to do better. And it's just so wonderful, and it's just so real to me. It wasn't sugar-coated. It was just really beautiful, and I love Katie's boldness and her courage to face her past and to realize that she is new in Christ, that she has the courage to go and right the wrongs that she did, to go and recognize that she is forgiven for these things that she's done, but she also needs to go and apologize to these people that she might have hurt. And I love the story. I highly recommend it. My Hope Next Door. It's just so good. 5 stars. Loved it. Thank you, Ashino, for including a reread in your reading challenge this year. I loved it. It just touched me in a whole new way this time, and it just made me love the story even more. 5 stars. The last book that I read, and I loved it, was It Had to Be You by Susan May Warren. This is the second book in the Christensen Family series, and if you all have followed, I have the whole Christensen Family series over on my shelf. I've only read the first one, and now the second one. This one blew the first book out of the water. Like, I like Derek, and, his story with Ivy and all that, if you read the first book, but y'all, this second book, love. Faith was literally skyrocketed in this book. And she follows multiple characters, and from what I've read in most of her books, I've only read like 2 or 3, but they all follow multiple POVs. The 2 main people in this is Eden Christensen. She's, I think, the oldest daughter in the Christensen Family series. She works in the obits department, and she lives a couple hours away from home. And her brother is an NFL hockey star. He's a rookie. He's new on the scene, and they live in the same town, and she kind of feels like she has to be his protector and babysitter. And she's like that for the whole family, just has to protect them and take care of them, make sure everybody's okay. And it's about both of them, about Owen and his new career as a NFL player. It doesn't it's not heavily deep into Owen's story. There is a lot of Owen and what goes on with him, and then it's Eden, and she sparks up a friendship and romance with this man that is very unexpected. And then it follows his POV, and then one of his best friends is a single dad. He's a widower, and he has a 9-year-old little girl, and she is sick, and it just follows all these people. And there's also like someone that they don't know who his identity is, and he's in a coma, and they have to figure out who he is. And guys, it's just so good, and I'm not trying to ramble about it, but I don't want to give anything away. The faith content touched me so deeply, and Eden was so relatable to me. Like, the way that she takes care of her family and thinks of her family is very similar to me, even though I'm the baby. It's my brother's older, and I'm the younger sibling, and but I just naturally have that caregiver role. I want to take care of my family. I'm the nurturer, and so I really related to Eden, and the love story was so beautiful too. There was a couple things that I felt were a little immature for like these people that are in their late 20s and 30s, you know, that I thought was a little immature with how they handled some conflict in the relationship. But overall, it was a 5-star read for me. Wonderful. And it was also my goal to read the whole Christensen Family series this year. Sorry, y'all, it's windy. And so this is the second book. So I've got 4 more to go. Or no, I don't. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I have 4 more to go. And I'm so excited to continue it on. And I can't wait. I think the next book is about Owen. I'm trying not to read the backs about any of these. But the next one is about Owen. And if you know, and I've read this book, you know that it kind of ends on a cliffhanger for Owen. So I'm really excited to see how it all pans out for him. So y'all, that is the end of my wrap-ups for these last 2 months. I didn't set a TBR for January. I just went in with what felt good, what I wanted to read. Guys, I found myself having so much more fun with reading than setting, like, this is what I'm reading this month. And I might do a piles of possibilities video, but I'm not going to set a TBR because I just found so much more joy with just picking the books out, like finishing a book and then going looking at my books and being like, what do I want to read? You know what I mean? So I hope you all have had such a good reading month in January, and hope you all are well. I'm going to try to get this up the day I'm filming it, which is Sunday. It's like the 5th, I think, of February. And tomorrow on Monday is the last day to enter my 400 subscribers giveaway. So make sure you go to that last video that I posted, enter the giveaway if you haven't already, and it'll close at midnight or 11 p.m. something, 11:59 p.m. tomorrow on Monday. So please make sure you go and enter. I'm so excited. I was honestly so surprised at how many people entered. It makes me so happy. I can't wait to give back to you all with one of the books that you're wanting. And yeah, so if you all would like to see a Piles of Possibility video for this month, for February, let me know and I'll get that uploaded. And I also discussed doing like a monthly Bible recap wrap-up video. So like just coming on and just discussing what I read for each month, tell you what I learned, tell you what I got out of it, what God was showing me. And I thought that would be a really great way to just also recap it, because the Bible is a big part of my reading now, and it's the most important thing that I could read. So I did a little poll on the community tab, and most of you did say you wanted to see like a monthly wrap-up for my Bible reading for each month. So I want to do that as well. I might not do it for January just because I didn't take notes very concisely while I was doing my Bible study, because I had already mentioned I wanted to do that as an idea, but I didn't think about writing my notes a little neater to go through them in a video. So I might just wait and recap February and go on from there, and have the idea in mind of I need to be a little bit more concise and organized with my Bible reading notes, just so it's easier for me to recap it for you all. So yeah, I hope y'all are well, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys. Water break. Man, I'm long-winded. Oh my goodness. Just about a cab driver. A cab driver. I can't speak. Okay. I sneeze like 1,000 times. Okay. But I had a hard time connecting. Guys, why do I make videos?